Control. Alpha Team.
Welcome, and in this episode we'll analyze the stat in Destiny known as range and what is covered under it. We will also look at how damage fall-off works. What is the range stat? Range, as you would expect, determines your damage fall-off, but that's not all it does. It also determines your accuracy and has influence on your aim assistance. This means that with greater range, your weapon will be able to be more accurate and your crosshair will stick to targets better. These effects will be different depending on the weapon. For example, the effects of higher range on a hand cannon is noticeable, but it may not be as noticeable on a weapon like a scout rifle. Overall, the effect that range has on accuracy and aim assistance is extremely small. Since these changes are so small, they are hard to test for. If you really want some quantitative data for these, please comment below and I'll see what I can do. Next is the more important part, damage fall-off. For my testing, the damage fall-off in Destiny is a very unique system. First, let's look at the basics of damage fall-off. There are several ways to do it, and I will explain a couple of them. First is what I call infinite. This type starts off with a maximum damage. After a certain range, it then reduces over range down to a minimum value. It then holds this value indefinitely. The next type is what I call limited. This type does the same as the last, but rather than being infinite after it drops to its minimum value, it instead holds that value for a certain range, then drops to 0. The third type I call sloped. This type does the same as the last two, but unlike the others, rather than holding a minimum value, it immediately drops to 0 damage and loses hit detection. Destiny follows the limited type of damage drop-off. Now that we know how damage fall-off works, let's look at how Destiny handles it. In Destiny, all weapons of a class have the same max range. For example, all auto rifles will be able to get hits at all the same ranges. The range stat only affects when the damage begins to fall. This means that by increasing the range stat on a weapon, it will never allow it to shoot further. The thing is that in Destiny, range on most weapons is so far you will not often experience reaching its limit. Another factor in damage fall-off on Destiny weapons is the fall-off drops in a curved or arced fashion, which means the damage will fall off slowly at first and drop off faster over range. That's all the info, now I'll give you my opinion. I don't quite like how all the weapons within a class have the same max range. What it means for Destiny is that all weapons have to have a very long max range so they can be effective in PvP. By allowing same class weapons to have different max ranges, you can have a greater variety of weapons. You could have auto rifles that have very high range like a scout rifle, and autos that have a high DPS up close but not from a far distance. I'd say the current system is a highly limiting factor. The Doctrine of Passing is a great example of a weapon that should have a limited range but instead has almost the same range as any other auto rifle due to Destiny's range system. What do you think about Destiny's range system? Do you like how Destiny handles range and damage fall-off? Do you think it should be changed for future releases? If so, how would you have it changed? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.